are at the beautiful, pristine south coast of Tasmania to enjoy one of the greatest wilderness walks on this planet, the South Coast Track.
This challenging 7 to 8 day walk covers 85 kilometers. We will start our hike in Melaleuca, an airstrip in the middle of Southwest National Park, and hike east to Cockle Creek, the farthest point south anybody can drive in Australia.
You will see us walking along windswept beaches and button grass meadows, across rocky headlands and mountain ranges, and through some very muddy rainforests and rivers.
We take off from Hobart, the capital of Tasmania, and fly to Melaleuca on a light plane operated by Bar Avion.
Our pilot explains the landmarks as we fly over them, including the gigantic salmon farms in the estuary of the River Derwent. We also get a preview of the track we are about to spend the next 8 days on. 45 minutes later, we approach the lonely airstrip in Melaleuca, and the weather is great.
The place consists of several huts and was originally established by the King family for tin mining. The airstrip was built by Denny King, a miner and bushman who later became a naturalist. Finally, we are ready to start our hike.
But wait, not so fast. First we have to find the orange-bellied parrot, an endangered migratory bird which only breeds near Melaleuca.
Okay.
And indeed, with the help of a bird hide and a strong binocular, we managed to spot these rare creatures. Here you can clearly see the orange belly, which the birds are named after. Sadly, there are currently less than 50 of these birds left in the wild.
We have our lunch near the huts built to shelter walkers. How is it, Jalana? Yeah?
We got quite the feast we have to eat up.
What do we have?
This is champagne.
Oh wow.
Gifted, so you can't make tables like this anymore.
We check out the inside of one of them.
And explore the Melaleuca Creek.
And the large Melaleuca lagoon.
And the Aboriginal Heritage Walk.
Finally, we fill up on drinking water, get our backpacks ready, and start the 85-kilometer walk.
The first day from Melaleuca to Point Eric is about 13.4 kilometers, but it's mostly flat with a climber descent of only 80 meters, so easy hiking.
It's a nice flat walk across button grass plains and some scratchy bush scrub to our first campsite at Point Eric on Cock's Bight.
Boardwalks make for quick progress and prevent us from sinking deep into the mud. At this time we are too naive to fully appreciate how wonderful these boardwalks really are.
We'll later learn that other swampy sections of this notoriously muddy track are missing boardwalks so that the hiker can enjoy the full mud experience.
But for now, we are happily moving along, getting used to carrying our heavy backpacks weighing up to 20 kilos each after we topped up the water bladders. And then descend towards the large Henig lagoon.
And walk around it to reach the beach at Cock's Bight.
Woo! Wow, we made it to the beach. Nice. We made it to the beach. It's beautiful here, but it's a bit windy. We cross the Henig Lagoon Outlet Creek and follow the beach to Point Eric, where we attempt to reach the campsite in the forest scrub lining the beach. We walked all the way to the end of the beach, and here we have some steps to go up to the campground. It's a big step. That's on camera. Try it again. I can push you.
Alright, let me try my other foot.
Okay.
No, my left foot's not going to do good. Okay.
Try it. I can push you. Go. That's a nice spot right there. Or is it too windy, you think so?
After finding a suitable site, we start our new daily task of erecting our tent for the night.
This task involves unpacking the tent and putting it together without breaking anything and of course without too much arguing. So what's the menu of the day?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Almost done?
Just have to wait
The
for
flame's
water.
still on? Yeah.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's still on.
After the work is done, we cook dinner.
And we celebrate the beginning of a new year with Prosecco out of a can. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year! The next morning we awake to another sunny day.
Fill up our water supply in a nearby creek.
And head out in the late morning.
Today's leg from Point Eric to Louisa Creek is 10.5 kilometers, but we will climb 235 meters and descend 255 meters, so it's a bit more challenging than yesterday's nearly flat walk.
We follow the sandy beach along the Cox Bight for 2 kilometers until we reach the Black Cliff.
Passing along the base of the Black Cliff is described as easy, except at high tide. Luckily, we reach it in the middle of the tides.
That was a good wave, another one. Oh no! How are you doing over there? I think the tide is coming in. Whew. We made it. You don't want to do this at high tide, that's for sure. Yeah. Next we need to find the spot where the trail leaves the beach and heads inland at Buoy Creek.
After crossing more scrub and button grass, we climb the Red Point Hills for a good last view of Cox Bight, and a view ahead of what we have to conquer in a couple days.
Windy up here.
Yeah, feels good though.
Following the descent, we finally reach Faraway Creek, which is easy to cross since there has not been much rain lately. And soon after we set camp at Louisa Creek. Beautiful campsite next to Louisa Creek. It's really a lovely spot. You can see the creek down there. Reddish water. Beautiful. And today for dinner we have gourmet Mexican chicken. It's gonna be ready in 5 minutes. And then we have here some couscous with black beans. You hungry, Elena?
Yeah, would be good.
Let's eat. What a lovely spot for dinner. Let's eat dinner.
Okay.
Here are the chips.
As we enjoyed our dinner by the creek, we noticed a school of fish came to join us, which did not seem afraid of us at all.
Next morning we enjoy a relaxing breakfast. What's for breakfast, Ola?
Making pancakes.
Ah, looks good.
Today's hike is a short one with only 6.3 kilometers and a climb of 55 meters. That is good because we have to save our energy for what comes tomorrow.
Rounding the base of the Spiker Hills,
Pushing through some scrub,
crossing the waterlogged Louisa Plains. A little bit muddy here.
We are heading for the camp at Louisa River at the base of the almighty Ironbound Range.
So we're getting ready to cross the Louisa River, and usually strong currents and deep water, but not today. We're actually pretty lucky. It's pretty easy to cross. And there's a campsite on the other side. Louisa River.
Yay. So today we only hiked about 6K total, so it was a short day. We've hiked total 31 kilometers so far in the last 3 days. Our hiking speed has slowed down quite a bit, about 2.4 kilometers per hour. We've got some big hills to climb. Tomorrow we have an even bigger one.
Good idea that we brought our camping chairs. We relax and go to bed early. On day 4 we get up at 5:30 AM, start packing our stuff and taking down the tent. We even skip our usual oatmeal for breakfast and rely on muesli bars, all to make sure we hit the trail early, because today's walk is quite different.
From the Louisa River to Little Deadman's Bay, it's only about 12 kilometers. But that 12 kilometers involves a 900-meter climb with a descent back to sea level with our 19 to 20 kilo packs. Because today we are crossing the Ironbound Range.
The climb is steep and exposed, and the Ironbound Range is known for weather extremes. Even snowfall in the middle of summer has been reported.
We have cloudy conditions with plenty of fog, but as far as we can tell, there are no storms, rain, snow, or otherwise at the mountaintop, so we decide to give it a go.
We slowly make our way up the mountain, taking lots of pictures. Another foothill, or is that the top already? That's Louisa Bay. Where do we go, Alana?
We just go up.
Up, in the clouds.
The stunning alpine flowers distract us from the steep climb. We see the red Christmas bells, the Tasmanian purple star, which is endemic to the mountains of western Tasmania.
The fog is getting thicker. Beautiful up here.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, let's make it to the top.
Okay. Almost there, I think.
Yeah.
Finally, we make it to the top, the perfect place for our lunch break, and a great spot to relax after the strenuous climb.
Fast-moving fog and clouds allow us only a glimpse of the mountains north of us.
Soon we get ready for the descent, which is apparently steep and muddy.
We are descending the Ironbounds, and this area, the other side, looks quite different. Pretty wet.
Well, it starts out okay.
But soon, the mud starts.
Rocks and roots are also pretty slippery, which makes for slow progress down the eastern wet side of the mountain.
And keep in mind that it looks like this after 3 days of sunshine. We don't want to do this in the rain, that's for sure.
And soon there is more mud, and more mud, and even more mud.
We are exhausted by the time we make it to the creek at the bottom of the mountain.
The trail continues for several kilometers, and it's a relief once we get close to the ocean near Little Deadman's Bay.
We are almost there. Almost at Deadman's Beach. Dinner tastes really, really great tonight. Chicken curry.
We wash up in the nearby creek and fall into a deep slumber.
Next morning, we wake up late to enjoy another beautiful day on the south coast of Tasmania.
Today we have a relaxing hike of only 9.4 kilometers, going from Little Deadman's Bay to the Pryan boat crossing, with only 150 meters to climb and descend.
We make our way through the forest to Deadman's Bay. This is the day after we crossed the Ironbound, and we're walking on Deadman's Beach. It's really nice to walk on a level, smooth beach for a change. Whew, legs are still sore.
This bay is actually named after a sailor from a whaling ship who washed ashore dead here in the 1900s. But despite that, it's a very remote and beautiful place.
Crossing Menzies Bluff, we get a good view of the entire coastline.
Before we descend to the longest beach walk on this track, covering nearly 5 kilometers along Pryan Beach. Eventually, we reach the big sand spit that separates the ocean from New River Lagoon.
The only way to cross the lagoon is by boat.
We wait until another hiking group finishes the crossing, and then it's our turn.
Row the boat ashore. Are we going in a circle?
I think you're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Just keep going straight. Thank you for rowing. I'm so lucky to have a nice strong man to do this for me, and I can relax here.
You're welcome. Relax a bit. You're almost there.
Let me know if you need a break. Maybe I can do it for a little bit.
Okay.
Here's Chris rowing the rowboat back across to the other side, so he leaves one for the next group of hikers. So he's rowing 2 boats, and then he'll row back himself again.
Actually, by far the hardest work is to pull the heavy rowboat all the way up the beach to secure it at its station.
While New River is a gorgeous lagoon, it is brackish.
And the only available freshwater creek is nearly black due to all the tannins in the water. Yeah, that's the color of the water we got from the creek. That's white, and that's how brownish it is. Well, it's filtered, so glad we have our filter.
While we were gone, a pademelon was sniffing out our campsite.
These smaller cousins of the kangaroo are usually found in Australian forest.
Finally, we crash early for a good night's sleep. Today we head for Granite Beach, a 12.2 kilometer hike with several small climbs totaling 430 meters in elevation gain.
We followed a rough track on top of a tree-covered sand dune and are rewarded with stunning views across New River Lagoon and the Sand Spit, which is the end of Pryan Beach.
We cross the rocky plains and make our way through a fairy tale forest dominated by ferns and ancient Antarctic beech trees.
Before we reach Surprise Bay.
Surprise Bay, woo!
We hike along the beach and wade through Surprise Rivulet.
All the way up we go. The last challenge for the day is to cross the steep headland above Shoemaker Point.
The trail is rough and it's a hot day.
So we are happy when we finally reach Granite Beach. Our last few steps down the Granite Beach. Woo!
Crossing the last part of the beach is a bit awkward, trying to walk on the large round pebble stones.
Finally, we reach the waterfall, a natural shower, and continue to the campsite on top of the ridge.
We make it just in time before the misty rain starts. A perfect time for a hot tea and cookies.
After some stretching, we fall quickly asleep.
The next morning starts with a short glimmer of sunshine, but soon clouds and misty rain move in. We've had a great run of sunshine, so we don't really mind the rain.
We also get an early morning visit from a very inquisitive tiger quoll. These carnivorous marsupials are native to Australia. Today we have a few hills and a boat ride ahead of us, as we hike 9.2 kilometers from Granite Beach all the way to South Cape Rivulet, with a climb and descent of 715 meters. We put on our rain gear and climb up to flat rock plains. A special feature of this part of the trek is, you guessed it, its muddiness.
What a beautiful trail.
Yeah, you almost made it.
Next up is crossing the South Cape Range, another muddy track, and the rain didn't help either.
We are happy to finally reach the wooden planks making up the trail through the buttongrass plains near Black Hole Creek.
To reach a dry forest.
And to descend to the ocean again.
Shallow at first, but then it looks pretty deep.
Finally, we arrive at the South Cape Rivulet.
Which is a bit deeper than expected.
It was the easiest to walk through right here, where it hits the beach.
It's very shallow actually.
Where's the campsite? Over there.
The campsite on the other side of the rivulet is lovely, and it's hard to believe this is already the last campsite of our trip. The time has gone by quickly.
Well, luckily, the sun is out again. A perfect time to dry wet clothes and recharge our cameras. And, of course, for dinner.
Stretching. What's our last meal of the trip?
No, it's not. We still have to eat breakfast and lunch tomorrow.
Well, the last dinner
The last dinner.
is...
It's a tuna casserole.
looks delicious.
A walk on the beach completes a great day on the south coast. The last day of our adventure sees us hiking along South Coast Bay before we turn inland to reach our final destination of Cockle Creek. It's 11.5 kilometers, but most of the track is pretty flat.
We get up early, enjoy a last breakfast in nature.
What is it?
Got 2 cappuccinos
Wow,
and some oatmeal.
it's a good last breakfast.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to South Cape Rivulet and head out along the beach.
We cross Coal Bluff,
Enjoy our last beach next to Lion Rock.
before we climb up Black Cliff to enjoy a last view of the Southern Ocean.
The last few kilometers are easy and flat walking, a stark contrast to the rest of the trail. The biggest danger is stepping on the skinks sunning themselves on the boardwalk.
Alana even spotted a rare lyrebird, one of the world's largest songbirds known for its brilliant song mimicry.
The lyrebird.
We made it to the logbook. Woo! We're signing us out.
And eventually we reach the end of the South Coast track.
What an adventure it was. 8 days and more than 85 kilometers from Melaleuca to Cockle Creek. through some of the most beautiful and rugged wilderness in Tasmania.
We will definitely return to experience more of this amazing area,
But for now, we take a few more steps to arrive in Cockle Creek.
where we take a bus back to Hobart to relax and let someone else do the cooking.
Here's one for magic that lives within, for seeing beauty in the commonest of things. Here's one for passion without restraint, to those who stumble to the ground and feel no shame. You're scared to fly in the endless sky, when the voices say that there's no way you'll ever make the grade. They say you try and you fall from high when the sun is set